This is the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, keeping you informed about the happenings in Annapolis and the area. Local news, local sports, local events, local opinion, and of course, local weather. The Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief starts now.
Good morning. It's Tuesday, February 11th, 2020. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. The Annapolis Police Department responded to two separate reports of shots being fired in HACA's Harbour House community over the weekend. The first incident happened on Sunday evening at about 7 p.m. Officers were called to the 1200 block of Madison Street for a report of shots fired. After they arrived, they were unable to locate any suspects or victims. In the second incident, police responded at 2:09 a.m. on Monday to the 1200 block of Madison Street. Again, no suspects or victims were found, but police did locate two unoccupied vehicles that had sustained damage from bullet holes. On Saturday, the Anne Arundel County Police Department was called to Chuck E. Cheese in the festival at Riva for a suspicious bracket that was removed from a drop ceiling above a restroom. Saturday afternoon at about 1:45, an individual saw what he believed to be a camera-mounting bracket hidden above the ceiling tiles in the men's restroom. That person actually removed the bracket, which was collected as evidence by the Anne Arundel County Police Department. There was no camera affixed to the bracket at the time it was recovered. Southern District detectives are working with Chuck E. Cheese management to find out if they know anything and how it may have been installed, and they are asking anybody that may have any information to contact Detective Sansbury at 410-222-1960. According to the Capital Gazette newspaper, the second phase of Jarrod Ramos' trial to determine whether he was criminally responsible for the shooting that happened on June 28, 2018, has now been delayed until June. Circuit Court Judge Laura Ripken set a June 2nd date to start jury selection, and the trial is now set for June 8th through the 23rd, nearly 2 years after the shooting. Ramos's public defender said that William Davis, one of his three attorneys, is unable to continue with the case due to personal and medical issues. Anne Arundel County State's Attorney Ann Colt-Litis did not oppose the request for the delay. Ramos did plead guilty but not criminally responsible back in October to killing John McNamara, Gerald Fishman, Wendy Winters, Rob Hyacinth, and Rebecca Smith in the June 28th rampage. And finally, as we wrap up, the City of Annapolis may come up about $400,000 short this year in state funding. For decades, the state has always reimbursed the city about $367,000 as a pilot or payment in lieu of taxes for the services that the city renders to the state. The state has 1.9 million square feet of buildings, and they do not pay any kind of taxes to the city. That $367,000 payment has been around for many, many years, and each year the city simply requests the funding, and typically it gets approved. In 2019, the city did not request the funding, and it was not included in Governor Hogan's 2020 budget, which raised a red flag for the Annapolis delegation in the General Assembly last year, which was freshman Senator Sarah Elfreth, former Speaker of the House Michael Bush, and freshman delegate Alice Kane. They went to work and they successfully passed a bill authorizing a $750,000 annual payment beginning with this year's budget, with annual increases to keep up with inflation beginning in next year's budget. The bill was not vetoed by the governor. However, it was not signed by the governor. Therefore, it automatically became law without his signature. Now, we learned that the City of Annapolis is not going to be receiving that $750,000 this year. The governor has taken back about $400,000 of it. We spoke with Senator Elfreth, and she said, unfortunately, this year, the governor decided to use the Budget Reconciliation and Financing Act to cut the funding. BRFAs are used to balance a given year's budget by changing mandated funding for one budget year. The governor cut the city's pilot funding back to what it was in past years. The senator did say that they were working to get it restored. There are no guarantees on that. And she finished by saying, unfortunately, this may be a fight we have to wage every year in the BRFA despite the mandated funding. Kind of disappointing there. Hey, if you didn't get a chance to listen to our Legacy Business Spotlight on Saturday, you want to give that one a listen. We spoke with Mary Ostrowski from Weems Creek Nursery School, and boy, that's a great little school in West Annapolis, got a great history. Two of my kids went to there a long time ago. It was fun to sit down and talk with Mary and find out what's changed, and really, what hasn't. All right, that does wrap it up for today. Please make sure you're checking out eyeonannapolis.net for more on these stories and more as they come in throughout the day. You also want to give us a recommendation or a review wherever you possibly can, and make sure your friends and family and colleagues know about us. Other than that, you need to hang tight. We have George Young with your local DMV weather forecast. He's coming up in 1 minute after this message from our friends over at Maryland Hall.
The Beatles are one of the only bands that kids, parents, and grandparents can all enjoy together. That's why, on Saturday, March 21st, WTMD and Maryland Hall are partnering to present the Saturday Morning Tunes Beatles Family Festival, featuring the Fabtastic Four. Doors open at 9:30 a.m., and the music starts at 10 a.m. Saturday, March 21st at Maryland Hall, 801 Chase Street in Annapolis. Sponsored in part by the B&O Railroad Museum. The family fun continues at Maryland Hall from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday, March 22nd for Art Fest, featuring hands-on activities, mini performances, children's crafts, treats, and more. Tickets and more info for the Saturday Morning Tunes Beatles Family Festival and Art Fest at Maryland Hall are at marylandhall.org.
Going out? You need the most up-to-date local weather. Here's George Young from DMV Weather in Annapolis with today's forecast.
Hey everyone, this is George with DMV Weather, and this is your Eye on Annapolis forecast for Tuesday, February 11th. Yesterday started the work week off with more rain for the Annapolis region, and today will bring even more rain, mainly falling in the AM hours along with some areas of fog. But at least highs will be in the upper 50s to maybe near 60 in spots. Tomorrow, you guessed it, even more rain, most likely in the PM hours, as highs drop back into the 40s before additional rainfall covers Anne Arundel County on Thursday, with highs jumping back up into the 57 to 64 degree range before a cold front moves through the region and opens the door for some much colder air to take over for a couple of days, with highs Friday and Saturday only in the 30s and AM lows in the 20s for most on Friday morning and teens and 20s on Saturday morning before another slight chance of rain and highs near 50 on Sunday to cap off the weekend. Okay, that's it for today. This is George Young of DMV Weather. Make it a great day out there, and be sure to get our free app on all of your devices by searching the Apple or Google App Stores for DCMD VA Weather, and also follow us on Facebook and Twitter and on our website at dmvweather.com so you can always stay weather informed.
Please join Anne Arundel Medical Center Foundation and presenting sponsor First National Bank Saturday, April 25th in Annapolis at the AAMC Foundation's Denim and Diamonds Bash. The 2020 Denim and Diamonds Bash is an important opportunity to provide critical funding for vital health services, including adult and pediatric mental health and substance abuse, evaluation, care, and navigation. Denim and Diamonds is a wonderful evening under the stars, featuring fabulous cuisine, gourmet food trucks, silent auction, and dancing to the Reagan years, all to support expanding mental health and addiction care in our community. Tickets are on sale. To purchase tickets before they sell out, please visit aamcdenimanddiamonds.org. Special thanks to our platinum sponsors, Anne Arundel Dermatology, AAMC Medical Staff, Buck Distributing Company, Comcast, Event EQ, Main and Market, What's Up Media, and WRNR.
You've been listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Tell your friends and colleagues this is the podcast where you can keep up on the latest with what's going on in Annapolis. And also tell them about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find even more information. This podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m., keeping you informed with the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. And take a moment to listen to our other podcast, The Maryland Crabs, released every Thursday at noon.